Let's get the party started.
Oh, baby!
When was the last time you shit your pants?
You think I'm a goddamn fool?
I shit my pants last night.
It's a beautiful planet. Well, it's a moon for sure.
I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Put that in your package, folks.
What's up, everybody? Josh, Clearing Waivers Podcast, coming at you for another episode of the Clearing Waivers Podcast. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. We appreciate you stopping by for another week of listening to us yell or speak stupid things into the microphone. We always appreciate your attention. Tonight, going Royals again. I mean, that's basically what we're going on until the Chiefs actually do something, free agency or the draft. So we're rolling with the Royals. Once again, we finally got some sample size to go with. Be damned what size it is. It doesn't matter. We are going to logically and intelligently look at the numbers and see kind of how things are going. No, we are not doing that. We are here to overreact tonight. We have got things already figured out. We've got our jump to conclusion mats set up. We're ready to roll. So we're going to do some overreacting tonight, do some more predictions. There's only been 7 games, so we got about 155 to go. So we still have some predictions to go through. We'll explain that as we kind of go on, and then we'll get into some shenanigans once again. But without further ado, let's get into clearing the waivers and overreact.
We're clearing the waivers.
Royals are 4-3 so far, I believe. We're currently hosting the Angels once again. Duffy is grinding through per usual. So we'll see how they keep an eye on how it goes. But we're going to come at you with some overreactions from what we've seen. We have seen a little bit of action over the last couple of weeks. Seems like we get a game and then we have a day off. Get a game and then have a day off. Get a game and then we have 2 days off and then we get a game. So we do have a little bit to go off of, but not a ton. But we're going to get our hot takes off regardless. Could be positive, could be negative. We'll have to see how it goes. We each got one for the rotation, the bullpen, and the lineup. So we're going to get right into it, starting with the rotation. Kitty, let's start with your rotation. Where's your overreaction?
Brad Keller's got to be tipping his pitches. There's no other reason that you can explain him struggling this bad at the gate. I mean, what I saw, it was a 12.5% for barrel percentage on hitters, which he was previously in the 4 to 5 range last 3 seasons. So they know it's coming. It's got to be. Only reason behind this, can't be this bad. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
How could the ace of the team, number 1 starter on opening day, be this bad? Doesn't make any sense to me.
The other theory is that he's hurt.
That is a smaller possibility in my book. Got to be a pitch tipping his pitches. Got to be.
I like it.
There's no other way.
No other way. That is purely more logical if you think about it.
He's already got to the bottom of this.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Usually, I guess when guys have starts this bad 2 in a row, they go on the injured list with the quote fingers there, doing something wrong, figure it out, and come back in 10 days and hopefully right the ship. So hopefully he'll get this worked out, and or if he is tipping his pitches, they've got the good film on him now, and they can help him do some weird glove work before he throws every pitch now.
Get you a rally mantis or some kind of placebo.
Need something. We'll just get a giant oversized glove so you can hide his hand in the ball in there. So
there you go. I like that idea a lot, actually.
Don't know what he's doing in there.
Good luck hitting it through the middle of the infield on that pitcher.
Right. Just massive glove.
Just like a comically, I love that idea. It's so
huge.
Funny. I saw his BABIP today.
I saw that too. It's gross.
Incredible.
Incredible. I've never seen that number before in a
591.
Exactly. It's so ridiculous.
How?
I don't know. It's
you mix
so
that
bad.
with a 9.64 K rate per 9. That's gonna be what's his whip? Hold on, I need to see this.
I don't want to.
4.29.
Lord of mercy.
4.29.
That's walks per 9, not a whip.
Does he have 4 total innings yet?
He has 4 2/3.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I think
small sample size.
Sure.
Right, there it is.
we will see better from Brad Keller. I mean, is almost everything he's done prior to this has been way better than that. So we're definitely going to see better Brad Keller, but sure would be nice to see it sooner rather than later. So, Brian, what's your overreaction to this rotation?
Well, the rotation hasn't been much to write home about. Danny Duffy's pretty much the only guy that's put in a good performance so far. But I'm going to go with Brady Singer at the end of the year is going to be the best pitcher on this rotation, because even though his numbers right now don't look great, I love what I'm seeing in the movement in his ball and working inside, outside. I know the big question about him coming out of the draft was they didn't know if he'd strike out enough guys, and small sample size. I know this year, but he's 11.9 Ks per nine, not walking guys. He's 3.2 walks per nine. In his 4 starts in spring training, he was around that 11 K per nine as well. So he's figured out how to strike guys out at the big league level. And so I think once, his defense started helping him out a little bit more than they did Monday night, the first game of the year, he kind of got beat around a little bit. But I think once he gets in a rhythm and starts finding his locations a little better, I think he's going to have a really dominant year.
I like that. We had 3 unearned runs last night. Is that right?
That sounds right, yeah.
I think so.
And one of them was due to his own throwaway to home plate.
Yeah. Which was just the second part of why that play was so weird.
Yes. Yeah. And there was also the play that, Isabel, quote unquote, should have made, and that diving coming in from right field that ended up costing him a run, I think. You can't give him an error on the play, but I think Isabel, like Hud said, he'll tell you all day, every day, he should have caught that ball. He just kind of overdove it a little bit. Just kind of little plays like that. You saw Nicky Lopez make a crappy play and a great play in the same game. And it's just little sloppy stuff that you're not used to seeing out of the Royals. So I think it was kind of a freak game last night with Singer. So I look for him to kind of bounce back in a big way and maybe get on a hot little run here.
It's kind of a weird thing. He hasn't, according to Fangraphs, he hasn't thrown any 4-seam fastballs. He's only living on the sinker, changer, slider.
I think Savant had him down for 1 fastball, 1 4-seamer. But
that's strange.
Pretty much, yeah, sinker, 2-seamer.
And the other interesting part about depending on how much weight you put in the pitch info per 100 pitches on Fangraphs, you're coming out of the draft, and the big question about Brady Singer was he going to develop that changeup? Mm-hmm. Was he going to turn another third offering into something that he could throw batters off a little bit more? And right now, per 100 pitches, he is way above average on that changeup. Obviously, we need to preface this whole thing with a small sample size. It's understood. So we're not going to say that anymore. We're just going to go.
And we've said these are overreactions.
Yes.
We're overreacting.
We're full transparency here. But I mean, you got to like what you kind of see out of Singer's changeup at this point. If that's really what if that's what we're doing here, 3.86 is the pitch value per 100 pitches. That's plenty above average for that changeup. So as long as he's bringing everything else along, that could be for real. That 11 plus K per 9 could definitely be for real. So I like that. I like that a lot.
And I don't think it's really going out on too much of a limb saying that at the end of the year he's going to be the top pitcher. But granted, it's been bad so far, but I think everyone expects this starting rotation to be solid to above average. At the end of this year, everyone's going to kind of figure their stuff out a little bit, maybe add a couple more guys, bringing them up. So it's not nothing to say that he would be potentially the top pitcher on this staff when you got Minor and Duffy and Keller that are proven veterans and proven winners. So I said when we said who's going to lead the team in WAR, and I said I wanted to take a hot take with Singer, and I ended up going with Keller. Well, now I'm jumping ship. I'm back on Singer.
Well, then, so everyone, if you have stock in Singer, go ahead and sell that immediately. From the clearing waivers bump, if you will, is not quite a bump as it is a crevice. So but yeah, I agree. That's not necessarily a far-fetched, especially this year. This might be the only year where Singer could probably realistically be that guy. If Lacey and Lynch and all these guys that are coming up live up to their ceiling, this might be the one year where Singer and Keller both are that guy that could be leading this staff. So we'll see. I like that a lot. I hope that's the case. I love me some Brady Singer. I love it when it rains on his starts, because that Florida gif of him freaking out on the mound always pops up. I think Whit Merrifield was the one who put it out this time. It's so good.
Yep.
So good. My overreaction hot take is a man that I was very much out on coming into the year. I was not a big believer in his new cutter. I was not a big believer that he had done anything differently. I thought he was just going to be another dude that washed out or maybe went to the bullpen and lived in there and showed his stuff played. But Jake Junis has proven me 100% wrong. I was not a believer, and now I am. He's only got the one start against Cleveland. I think he did have one bullpen appearance, 7 innings pitched on the year, but he's increased his ground ball percentage by 11% from last year. His cutter is a great complementary piece to his elite slider, and basically it's just a faster version of that slider. His slider itself is elite, and it has a 100% whiff rate right now, which is bonkers.
100%, hey.
100% whiff rate.
I
Wow.
don't hit it all year. Perfect.
So yeah, let's keep that going. So yeah, Jake Junis might be a stalwart in this rotation for the rest of the year, and he's certainly making a case for the future. If he's able to live off of his fastball, cutter, and his slider, while throwing on maybe a little bit of extra changeup in there, I think it's played in there too. That's very well going to play for this Royals staff in general, whether it's out of the rotation or the bullpen in the future. So as for this year, while we wait for Lynch and Lacey and Coar and those guys to kind of blossom into their studness, then I think Junis will be a stalwart and a pillar in this rotation. So that is my overreaction at this point. All positives. Look at us, guys. Look at us. That's not usually how we got. I mean, Rance isn't here anymore, so that's probably a big reason why. He was probably writing somebody off in his overreaction at this point. That's pretty common and pretty easy bet for Rance. But the rest of us are riding the positivity train here.
That's right.
For now, let's move on to the bullpen. We've got some overreaction to this bullpen. I'm sure there's plenty of negativity to be found in there. I'm going to start it off with Kyle Zimmer needs to be getting some considerations for that closer role at some point. Right now, he's got that elite curveball, the hammer of Thor, if you will, dropping that curveball on studs, and he still has a very above average fastball to complement it. Right now, he's allowed 3 runners on 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, and no earned. That's healthy. The stuff was never in question, which is going to be the title of his biopic when he becomes an absolute Hall of Famer. It's going to be the stuff was never a question will be the title of it. But using his 61% of his fastball is using 61.1% right now, which is way up. So he's leaning on that fastball to set up that big 12-6 curve, and he's using his barely above average slider way less than usual. So he's not getting beat up nearly as much. He still is the second most used pitch is that slider, so he's still using it, but I think he's leaning more on that fastball curve than he has before, and I think he's just leaning into his strengths a little bit more. So I think he's doing well. I don't know. I mean, you never know when his health's going to give out. It's only inevitable at this point. Death, taxes, and Kyle Zimmer going on the IL at some point. But while he's healthy, I would love to see him get some shots and some looks at that closer role. So we'll see how that goes.
I'd say that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you got?
I want to institute a rule going forward when we're playing the Cleveland I words. Because it pissed me off last week when we had Bieber beat. It was a Junis start, a bullpen game against the returning Cy Young guy. We had him beat, and we let their best hitter beat us twice to win the game. I don't want to test Jose Ramirez in another series going forward. We play this team 19 times in a year, being a division team. Yes, Franmil Reyes can beat you. Yes, Eddie Rosario can beat you. They have some scary guys around him, but I'll take my chances with them and pitch around Jose Ramirez as much as you possibly can, because it pisses me off when you play a bad lineup and you let their best hitter beat you. Not once, but twice.
Twice. Yep.
Jesse Hahn got a warning shot on a.
Yeah, he did.
He pitched an inside pitch that Ramirez yanked just foul over the right field pole, and he went right back inside again, where Ramirez loves to pull balls. Throw it away, down, away. Walk him if you have to. Make him swing at bad pitches. Do not feed him what he wants to eat. And
if I remember correctly, I feel like he even piped that second one too a little bit more. It was more towards the middle than the first one.
Oh God, it was terrible. and it was so frustrating. I had it chalked up as a W. We're taking the Beebs down, but no, our pride gets in the way, and we have to challenge their best hitter. No more challenging Jose Ramirez for me. Please institute that rule, Mike Matheny.
Somehow, Jesse Hahn's BABIP is only 333. I don't understand how that's a thing. Seems like it should be way higher. Only a 2.7 whip. So
and you get through an inning, you got 3 outs there, so that always helps your BABIP go a little lower. But
10.8 walks per 9 for Jesse Hahn. I think he's the one who just got put on the IL, correct?
He was my original overreaction because I wanted to say I don't want to see Jesse Hahn ever pitch in a close game in the 7th inning or later ever again. But I'll give the benefit of the doubt that this injury is legit, and we'll say he has looked good in the past pitching in high leverage situations. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that this injury is real and not quote unquote an injury.
He it was kind of a small sample size last year too, only 17 and a third inning where he did pitch really, really well.
Yep.
But his xFIP was still 4.23, which is just above average, not nearly as good as his 0.52 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be one of those situations where maybe the xFIP does tell a little bit more of the story about, what Hahn really is. Because prior to that, he wasn't necessarily much anything special since 2015. I mean, obviously he was playing through injuries and stuff too, but it does make me kind of wonder about who he really is at this point, because you have a bunch of bad and some good way back in the day. So I'm curious to see what happens on his IL stint, and then what happens afterwards, and then what he does forward with the Royals or with whatever Major League Baseball in general at this point. So,
and that kind of goes back to what kind of a concern I had coming into the year with, is this bullpen actually real? That was the strength of the team last year in the shortened season. Some of these veteran guys are doing things we've never seen them do before.
Yep.
And how long do you mess around with guys that are costing you games? That was going to be a big thing for me to watch going into the year, because if they really want to win, we can't be messing with these guys and say, well, we hope they're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've got arms down there that you're begging to see to step up in that role, and you've got guys in that bullpen already that you kind of trust more than him.
Yep.
Anyway, so that could be a guy that we'll have to see. But I just hope if he doesn't show anything that they don't hold on too long.
There's guys that you could probably cycle in there to high leverage situations. So when he does get back, hopefully someone's taking hold of the reins of that back end of the bullpen. I don't know,
like
maybe 2
Zimmer.
or 3 guys, maybe. And maybe at that point we don't rely on Hahn needing to get outs as much as just needing to stay healthy and produce in like a 6th inning every now and then.
Maybe we find somebody that's going to be our effective against lefties guys that maybe is an actual lefty. It's a crazy idea.
Jake Prince, Richard Lovelady, maybe.
Yep, they got options.
Maybe Danny Duffy. Maybe Mike Minor.
Lynch.
We'll have to see. Maybe we got maybe so. Kitty, what's your bullpen overreaction hot take?
Barlow's getting over 100 appearances this year. Write it down. He's on pace for 101 so far. Let's do it. Let's go for 100. 106 most ever by a pitcher in a season.
Most ever.
Jeff Montgomery.
I think it was Kent Tekulve. I can't remember if that was the right name I saw up in that top of the list. But let's go for it, Barlow.
Yeah.
Let's get that arm worked out. We'll be ready every day. Be ready out there in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would assume that they would be in games at that point, right?
You got to be. He's your close, high leverage situation, middle innings, a lot of games. So get ready, Royals. It's gonna be a great season because Barlow is getting 100 appearances.
Zimmer also 5 appearances.
Yep.
Oh, we got 2 guys in the mix.
Jesse Hahn also 5 appearances, but
he just blew it today with that getting moved to the IL.
Yeah. I think that also has to do with the starting pitching not doing so hot either. So hopefully
when you have a couple of starts of less than 3 innings, it's going to be tough to not use the bullpen a bunch early.
I'll take that from Barlow. I'll take that all day. Like I said, it kind of insinuates that they'll be in it. So I'm in it. Let's go with the lineup position players. What's the overreaction for you, Kitty? What do you got?
Benintendi, washed. He's done.
Oh,
Red Sox.
Yep.
Red Sox got out on him early. They knew what they were doing, and the Royals are now stuck with damaged goods. I mean, that first and third, 1 out, extra inning game, and he bunts right back to the pitcher. I mean, you can't even angle a bunt towards either baseline. And I mean, luckily for the Royals, the pitcher winged one at the catcher's mask from 35 feet away, and so the catcher couldn't grab it.
Spiked
But
it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, I can't believe you're bunting that situation. That's how lost you have to be at the plate at that moment. You're supposed to be a gap hitter. I mean, how could you? Just terrible. I think his hard hit percentage is 23%, which is 153rd out of 197. So he's not the worst in the league, which I kind of was just a little surprised about. I can't believe there were so many guys worse. I couldn't believe there was 44 guys worse than him. But I mean, he looks lost, doesn't know what's going on at the plate. So my overreaction is he's washed. Knock him down in the lineup, put him at 8-9, move everybody else up a spot, or throw Michael A. Taylor or Nicky Lopez in that 2-hole.
Oh,
I know.
my
Blasphemy.
God.
That's blasphemy right there coming from me.
God, did you just say that?
That's how bad Benintendi's been.
Sweet Jesus. Right on time. Benintendi has been on base 2 out of 3 times tonight.
Yep.
Got a
Oh,
walk and a hit. So
he must have caught wind of my rant coming.
I did share him to the Google sheet, so he got a good look at it before the game, and probably used the little bulletin board material.
I like it. Some motivation.
Who is
glad to help.
Cott? Who is this? Who's this Yuli Gurriel looking bum?
I will say he does know how to get on the good side of a Royals manager by bunting in a situation like that.
That's true.
Catching him off guard, forcing action, blah, 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 blah.
God, I bet God, Ned Yost probably just gave him a congratulatory text as soon as he saw it. Great play, great play.
What a gritty bunt.
Knew we had something when we grabbed you. I knew it. It kind of makes me think that there's some kind of grit bingo card in each player's locker room, so where they can just go try to fill out their blocks for a extra day of rest or something. A little PTO for you, Brian. What's your lineup overreaction here?
Overreaction. Jorge Soler might lead the league in strikeouts this year. Oh my God, he is on a terrible run here. He just ended last night a streak of 7 in a row, I believe the number was, strikeouts in a row, which is outrageous. Yeah. We've seen this before with him. He's streaky like this. He'll go 2 or 3 weeks in a row where he just cannot help himself to swing at every slider he sees outside the zone. He just can't help himself. He has to swing at it. His first 2 swings have to be 1,000 miles an hour. And then that slider's coming, and he's whiffing and flailing and looks awful. Right now, he's 1 behind the leader. There's actually 3 people tied for more strikeouts than him.
Who?
It's like Mountcastle. I can't remember the other 2 guys' name, but they have 17. He has 16, which is good for 47% of his plate appearances are strikeouts.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
I remember sounding the alarm in spring training last year, being like, why is Soler striking out in half of his at bats? People were telling me that spring training doesn't matter. This is not a sign of things to come. And here we are.
Now, I will say he is a career 28% strikeout percentage guy. So it's not like this is what he does all the time. So it is an overreaction to say he's going to lead the league in strikeouts. He's probably not going to lead the league in strikeouts. This is kind of just a phase he goes through for whatever reason. He just cannot lay off those sliders going away from him. Last year, he came in at 34.5. In 2019, he was at 26 the year before that. So I'd look for him to kind of lock it in at some point. But my God, right now, it's tough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely lost. The league leaders are Javi Baez, Nick Solak, and Ryan Mountcastle. All have 17. There's also Nate Lowe, Taylor Trammell, Miguel Sano also have 16 apiece as well. So
it's a trendy thing to do nowadays to strike out a lot.
That's a veritable who's who in the cake community. They're the mayor, Javi Baez and Miguel Sano. They're mayors of Strikeout City. That's for sure.
Same as golf. Hit it as far as you can.
That's right.
Every time you hit the ball and just see what happens after that.
Yep.
Baseball, same way. Just swing as hard as you can, hit the ball as far as you can.
Yep.
I'm into it. Mine is, Kitty, you kind of mentioned it earlier. Nicky Lopez might have rediscovered who he is. I think I was the first person in Kansas City when he first got called up being like, okay, hold on. he is a soft hitting, good fielding second baseman, probably. Let's not act like his call up is going to be the savior, because when he got called up, people were doing everything but sending a parade in the streets, and I just did not see the upside that he could have. He could be very solid, good everyday player, good glove, obviously, a decent on base guy, but he's not going to bring any power to the plate. Got a lot of grit on his sleeve, but I was the first person to kind of tell everybody to pump the brakes, so it kind of makes a little sense. I'm one of the first ones to be like, maybe this is real. Maybe. Right now he's got a 393 on base percentage with a 9.4% walk rate. He also shaved 4.5% off of his swinging outside of the zone pitches from last season. His contact percent is up 7.7% from last season. Extra velo's up 4.4, 381 BABIP, so it's probably going to even out a little bit, but all those kind of suggests that he's seeing the ball a lot better. He's making contact with things that he is swinging at. I think his glove's always going to be solid, but he did have that costly error like we talked about in the Singer start that allowed 2 runs to score. But I mean, if I don't think you can count on him as shortstop, but I think he can absolutely be in the race for a Gold Glove at second base. So he obviously was last year. You could do a lot worse at second base than Nicky Lopez, this version of Nicky Lopez. If this is who he is, this is kind of who he was coming up through the majors, kind of like a 260, 360, 340 slash line. That's kind of who he was in the major or in the minors. So if that's what you're getting, you could do a lot worse than Nicky Lopez at second base. So hopefully he has figured something out, and maybe he could have something to do with going back to shortstop, kind of like a homecoming, kind of feels right type of thing. So now I know that that's kind of taken care of. I can go concentrate on what I'm doing at the plate. Could be something there. I mean, that could be not nothing, or it could be a whole lot of garbage, but either way, he's doing all right at the plate, and I'm happy to see it. So,
yep,
good for him.
Like to see it.
It's very nice to have him hitting well.
Yes. Yep. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. I know a lot of people have already written off Nicky Lopez. Makes sense. I was also probably in that boat. Probably built that boat that you're currently riding in.
I was painting that boat with you. Your boat.
It's called the SS Minnow. So that's the overreactions. We hope you enjoyed it. They're probably all incorrect. So it's good to get a little bit of that venting off, a little bit of positive. I think mine were mostly positive. Did we have a negative? Brian's Soler take was a negative.
Somewhat, yeah.
The Benintendi being watched.
That's true. That's pretty negative. That's pretty
negative.
Pretty damn negative. I also looked at that too. I'm not 100% sure. We've all bought a lot of Benny stock last week in Ball Street, but might be looking for some buyers.
It might just be taking a loss.
Might be taking a loss. So we'll kind of rolling into the next waiver to clear here is we've kind of got, I broke down a few players, kind of put them in general categories to where they all kind of fit as far as their roles on this team kind of go. So we've got 3 players in each grouping, if you will, and we're going to try to determine who's going to have the best season of the 3. So we'll do this kind of by the determining factor right now of best season. For position players will be off of WAR, and for pitchers it'll be on ERA plus on Baseball References. So that's kind of what we're contextualizing it with. And let's get started here with our first one. I'm calling it the Old Horses. So in that grouping, we have Mike Minor, Danny Duffy, and Jake Junis, who is 28 years old. Certainly a old balls as far as this rotation goes for the next few years. So he's going to get thrown in with the Old Horses here. I'll start off with my pick for who I think is going to have the best season of the 3, and it's the guy who's in a contract season, Mr. Daniel Duffy. I sang the praises of Jake Junis earlier. I think he's going to have a good season. I sang the praises of Mike Minor 2 weeks ago. We're talking about the best pitcher. But right now, I'm overreacting. I love me some Danny Duffy. So give me Danny Duffy right now. I think he's looked good in his first start in Detroit. He's grinding through that start tonight. He's in the 6th inning, 2 runners on, could have a quality start again, but still looking pretty solid. And even if he starts to slip, you send him to the bullpen. I have all the faith in the world that he'll be very effective out of the bullpen as well. So give me a higher ERA plus for Danny Duffy out of those three. Brian.
I want to go Duffy. He has my heart, but I have to go with track record, and I think it's Mike Minor's a safe bet there. He's shown the most recently, and last full season, 2019, he had a 1.44 ERA plus, which is terrific.
Very good.
I got him 8th in the Cy Young voting, so I think Minor will pitch more innings likely over the year, and I think he'll add more value. So I think Mike Minor's got to be the choice for me.
Okay, Kitty.
I had the same choice as Brian. I went with Mike Minor, even though his first couple starts were a little smoke and mirrors, a lot of guys left on base, helping him out a little bit. But I think, again, hopefully that 2019 was a real deal, and we're getting that guy again. So the Royals can just keep penciling him in every 5th day and get those, hopefully, 200 innings out of him. And
Be nice.
he'll just keep putting up good numbers all year.
The innings pitch, 200 innings pitch seems like a lot for Mike Minor, but I hope you're right. Hope you're right. Let's go to the next grouping. I call them pillars, which is Salvi, Soler, and Witt in that lineup. They're kind of the big pillars at the top of the lineup. All three of them, I mean, Soler's not looking great for that K rate, but he did hit that big time bomb the other night. So still performing here. Kitty, who's your best of the three here?
I'm going to go with Salvi, going with the catcher in this grouping. I think Soler gets hurt a lot from the WAR rankings by being the basically primary DH. So I'm going to go with Salvi on this one.
Okay, Brian?
I'm with you on Soler being third, a clear third. It's tough to add WAR when you're the DH. So it comes down to Salvi and Witt, and I'm going to go with Witt. And that guy, like we talked about last week, he's just locked in right now, and I think he actually gets helped out by going back to second base. It's kind of hard for him to earn WAR out in right field a little bit. I think he'll see a lot more action at second base, and he can play a perfectly good second base. So he's not going to get knocked for his defense. I don't think at second base is just going to add to his WAR. He's an early leader right now, I think, at whopping like 0.5 or something.
Yeah.
And I mean,
which is fine. It's been 7 games. I'll take half a WAR from Witt right now. Absolutely.
And I think with, Salvi looks locked in right now too. He went 4 for 4 last night, got his 1,000th hit. I mean, he's hitting the ball really well. We know he can play good defense. So, I mean, it's a tough call, but I'm just going to lean with Witt because he's been such a horse the past couple of years.
Yep, I agree. And all the numbers, all his play discipline numbers, contact, exit velo, all that's pretty on par with what he's done in the past. So there's really no reason to doubt that he's not going to do the same thing that he's been doing the last 3 years. I am also going Witt on that. I think the big one is the fact that he's an Iron Man, and the other two are hurt a lot. So I think that's a big deal. Obviously, Soler, even when he was the AL home run champion, he was still less WAR than Whit Merrifield was that season.
Wow.
Which was wild to me. And the catcher is also a good position to rack up the WAR. I'm starting to kind of I have not been quick to jump on the bandwagon for Salvador Perez's new plate approach. He put up close to 300 batting average last season. He's right around there again this season. But I just wonder how real it is. He still seems to be – his plate discipline numbers are very similar to what he's done in the past. He still swings at 48% of the pitches outside the zone. The difference is that he is only making contact on 46% of them instead of 65% of them. So it's that weak contact that he gets when he swings on outside of the pitch zones or outside of the zone pitches that generates those bad balls that he does hit if he even makes contact on them. And since he's not actually making contact on them, they're kind of saving him from himself maybe a little bit right now. We'll see how that. He's also rocking a 368 BABIP. So I threw a lot of numbers at you there, but it's basically telling me that he is the same guy that he's always been. Therefore, his numbers will again be good for a catcher, but they're not going to be what they currently are.
Shut up.
Brian, why are you shaking your head at me?
How dare you doubt Salvi, of all people on this team? Salvi? You're going to doubt Salvi?
Got a shorter bat maybe, so that's those pitches on the outside of the zone he's not hitting. That's perfect. It's all calculated.
I don't hate that theory.
All right, I do hate that you're hating on Salvador
I
Perez.
love Salvi. I don't know why I always get shit on.
You just spat out a bunch of numbers that hate him.
They're numbers. They don't lie. You're a nerd. You understand numbers, right? You understand how numbers work.
Well, not those nerd stats.
Not
I
the
look at
nerds.
real stats like batting average and on base percentage and home
And
runs
RBIs.
and RBIs.
real
Yeah.
baseball
Real
hero
stats. Real stats.
Real
Yeah.
stats that make you an
Real
all-star.
stats.
You don't get a triple crown for outside zone percentage swings.
No, but they do tell a little bit different of a tale. There is my point.
When I pencil him in for the all-star for the American League, it won't have his WOBA on there or whatever the hell else
Sure.
stupid stats you want to have.
That's
on
one
there.
I don't get. I know there's wins involved in WOBA, but I don't understand it very much. So I don't know how
He's
that
going to be
works, but-
leading the league in homers. He's going to have a 285 batting average. He'll lead leading in RBIs in the American League. You can pencil those numbers in right now.
I mean, how many AL MVP votes is he going to get then?
Oh, he'll be in the running for sure.
Absolutely. If he got those numbers, he absolutely is getting votes.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
shit, if he didn't have those stupid injuries last year, he would have been getting votes. I mean, Abreu ran away with them last year because he was incredible. But Salvi, I
Oh.
don't think even qualified because he had the eye thing, he had the COVID thing.
I think he did get MVP votes. Hold on.
I mean, he had a great year last year. So for
He
you to,
did.
to say that wasn't real and he's going to go back to being subpar at the plate, I just don't like that one bit.
17th in MVP voting last
There you
year.
Okay, he'll probably come in about 7th this year.
Okay. I like that. Okay. I'd be happy to be wrong about that.
For real.
Happy to be wrong about that. Let's get to the next grouping here. We got bullpen guys. They're not that young in this grouping here. That's Scott Barlow, Josh Staumont, and Kyle Zimmer. I think that's a good trio to have.
I know
in the
where you're
pen.
going.
Oh, do you?
After
it
your
is my-
bullpen overreaction.
It is my turn to lead off. I want me some Zimmer, but my head is telling me that Josh Staumont's stuff is just too good. That's just prior to him going on the IL, obviously. But his stuff is electric. And as long as he keeps that walk percentage down, he's going to be a monster in that bullpen. So I think Josh Staumont's going to have the best of the three. It's going to be a situation where Wade Davis had a better numbers back in, 2014, even though Holland was the closer. So give me some of that. Give me Staumont taking the 8th and then Kyle Zimmer in the 9th.
Yep.
Brian.
I think you bring up a great point there because when I look at these three names, I'm with you. I got Staumont on top. I think actually Zimmer's going to come in second and Barlow third. But when you think about who this team trusts in big situations, who Matheny trusts to go put a fire out, he almost always goes to Scott Barlow over those two guys. He loves
Or
to
Greg
bring
Holland. He loves to bring Holland in too.
That's true. I mean, among these three guys, it seems
Yes,
like
yep.
he loves to bring Staumont in and clean innings. Zimmer, he likes to get warmed up if the starter's flailing. He'll play him kind of anywhere in there, but he knows he can get 2 or 3 innings out of him. But if you ask, we need to get 2 outs, who are you going to go to right here? And this game's not Greg Holland. I think Matheny says Scott Barlow 9 out of 10 times if everyone's the same readiness. So I don't know if that speaks to our management decisions or what, but when you have Staumont and Zimmer have better ERA pluses, they had way better ERA pluses last year than Scott Barlow, but they're always going to go to Barlow in a big situation.
Hey, Matheny got his associates from University of Phoenix online for analytics last
That's
season.
true.
So we cannot by any means question his decision making at this point. So
He's got the bona fides now. He's got that diploma on the
do
wall.
not, if I can't hate on Salvi, you can't hang on that hunk Mike Matheny.
That's fair.
He's hunk. Kitty, what's your top dog out of this trio?
I'm taking Zimmer. I'm going to go with,
Oh, here we go.
I believe there was a biopic coming out about him, something about
Yep.
stuff was never in question. So I'm going to
Never.
go with him. I'm going to take him as my guy this year to lead that bullpen, at least these 3 guys in that ERA plus category.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the stuff. He's ready. He's healthy. Let's do it.
And I loved
Knock on wood.
I loved in his save situation the other day. He was using all 4 pitches. So, I mean, that tells me he's got confidence. He was using all 4 pitches in like full counts and stuff.
Yep.
When it got to full counts, he wasn't just piping down a fastball down the middle. He was throwing his secondary pitches. And to know that he has that much confidence in it. It's like if he comes out of the bullpen and one of them he's not feeling that much, he's still got 3 other options that he feels good about. So knowing that, I mean, he could be a real nasty weapon to have out of that bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love it. Just stay healthy, because Kyle, just please, for the love of God,
please,
This-
God.
you're such a special player. Let's make it real. Finally, last grouping here is the new guys: Benny Benintendi, Carlos Santana, and Michael A. Taylor. Kitty, I'm gonna guess that Benintendi is not the guy for you. Who is the guy for you?
If he was the guy, that's going to be a real nail in the coffin for Santana and Michael A. Taylor. That would be rough.
Those would
So
be
I'm going to go.
tough contracts to swallow the next couple years.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to go with Carlos Santana. He's still
Mhm.
walking like he always does. His eye at the plate is still amazing. One of the best ever, seems like. And so I just feel like he's going to get his swing locked in. He hit a home run the other day. Opposite field shot, pretty good, pretty big lumber on that one. So I got faith in Santana, just being who he is, always is, and just grinding out at bats, making pitchers work, and he'll get his over the course of the year. And I don't have the same faith that Michael A. Taylor can keep up his hot start, what he's doing now.
I like it, Brian.
I like the Santana pick. Benny would probably be third for me on this. I'm going to go down a limb and say Michael A. Taylor is not what we've seen so far, but I think he's actually going to probably have a career year based on what we've seen. I think he does have plus defense to help in center field to add to that WAR. And I don't think that 375 on base percentage he got right now is going to remain. But if he's anywhere close to that, he's going to, by playing a good center field, I feel like he's just going to rack up nice WAR out there. And it's harder to do that for Santana at first. He can do it, but you just can't rack up the WAR like you can as a center fielder. So let me go out on a limb and say Michael A. Taylor, not what we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season, but better than he's ever been. So I think that adds up to leading that trio in WAR.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm also going to go with Carlos Santana. This was kind of the toughest of the three, kind of like you guys have already laid out. It's easy to kind of rack up the WAR in center field. It's not super easy to rack up the WAR at first base, and then left field is kind of somewhere in the middle, as are all three of their plate history. So it's kind of a tough one to kind of roll with, but I did roll with Carlos Santana. He is it's fun because coming into the season, you were like, okay, so the Royals are they kind of preach the free swinging type of thing. Carlos Santana is usually a very plate discipline. What happens when an immovable, unstoppable force meets an immovable object type of thing?
Yep. Exactly.
And what we're kind of seeing is a little bit of both, because Carlos Santana has the worst swing percentage pitches outside the zone that he's had in his career so far at 37%. But he's just swinging more in general at 46%. So he's swinging at just under half of every pitch that he sees he's swinging at. But like Kitty said, he's still walking plenty. He's still in top 5 in walks so far. And his BABIP is also 190. So there's some bad luck baked in there as well. So I think that even though, it's hard to generate WAR from the first base position, it's still very much, he's still got some other end of the pendulum kind of going to come swinging his way, and he's going to get hot. So I can't wait to see Carlos Santana doing that. And I'm just not a big believer in what Michael A. Taylor is doing right now. So I think it's going to be Carlos Santana as well.
I think that's fair.
Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we'll see it soon. I think that's all we got for clearing the waivers tonight. So let us know what your overreaction is to the season, to the players so far. We want to kind of hear what you're kind of thinking at this point. You can hit us at social media at Clearing Waivers, or you can find us over at Royals Review. We kind of monitor that a lot as well, or the YouTube channel. You can hit us in the comments. But we'd like to know what you guys are talking about, what you guys are thinking about, what your big overreaction is for the season so far. Time to start Shenanigans. That's a new one. I was playing with the title last year. Some Shenanigans is not going to be it, but we're going to get some DFA this week. Brian's got the question, but before we do that, we got to get a little pumped up right now.
DFA is in the house tonight.
That's a little treat for anybody getting the YouTube did a little dance for you there. So little incentive to go check out the video. But like I said, Brian's got the DFA question this week. It's the trivia. Haven't done it in a little bit, but basically Brian's got a question with multiple answers. Kitty and I are going to get 3 options apiece before we are eliminated from the game. There's some other soft rules in the mix, but we'll deal with those as they come. So Brian, what's the question this week?
What's the order first?
Let's say I'm going to go first.
Okay. Josh, then Kitty.
Suck it, Kitty.
Thanks.
I told you guys that we've talked a lot of numbers, dorky numbers. Josh loves to bring these dorky numbers on the podcast. One of my favorite things that ESPN has done is incorporating the OPS plus number for players as they come to at bat and mixes it in with the regular numbers. It's one of my favorite stats because I think if you look at an average fan and you go tell them that that guy's slugging 820, and they're going to look at you like, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. A good thing about OPS plus is it 100 is league average. So if you see that they've got a 150, they're killing it. They're 50% better than league average as a hitter and on base and slugging percentage, which is what it's all about. So for our trivia,
wrap your mind around 50% above league average. Go ahead and try to keep that in mind.
It's huge. So let's stick in the AL Central. We know it well. I think you guys can knock out a bunch of big names here. We're going to go the last 5 full seasons. So I'm not counting last year's shortened season, 2015 to 2019. And I'm going to say they have to be qualified for the batting title. So they have to have 3.1 plate appearances per team game. I want you to give me, in that 5-year span, there's only been 13 players that have finished the year with a 130 or better OPS plus. 30% better than league average. Only 13 players on this list. I think you're going to have success with a lot of them. There might be a couple that we struggle with, but that's what this game's all about. So without further ado, Josh, give me a name. AL
That's
Central.
all you saw. All AL Central.
All AL Central.
I think this was. I'm gonna have trouble with the years here, but I'm gonna say Miggy Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera's done it twice in that time span. 2015, he was 169. 2016, 155.
What is happening?
The
That
guy's
wasn't
an
even a
absolute
Triple Crown year.
freak.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Miggy Cabrera is a layup in this. So, Kitty, give me another one.
I just wasn't sure if 2015 was after he washed already or not.
Right.
I'm going to go with somebody you mentioned earlier and say Jose Abreu.
Jose Abreu, another monster. 2015, 135. 2017, 141.
What did he have last year?
He had an incredible number last year,
Yeah.
but I don't have it written down here.
AL MVP last year.
Yeah, it was a huge number.
How about Locane?
Locane, not on this list. First option used for Josh.
I'm going to go with Jorge Soler with the home batting type.
Yep, 2019, 137 OPS plus. Well done. Back to Josh.
Give me Jose Ramirez then.
Jose Ramirez on here twice in that span. 2017, 145. 2018, 151. Once again, no more pitching to him late in the game, please.
Sounds like other teams should take that same stance.
No kidding.
Let's see here.
Back to Kitty.
Let's go with, I feel like this is probably not going to make it, but I'm going to go with Lindor.
Lindor's on here in 2018, 132, just made the cut.
How about old balls Nelly Cruz?
Nelson Cruz on here, 2019, 169.
Yeah,
That's
he's going to do
incredible.
it again. He's going to do it again this year.
Good gravy.
He's doing it at such an advanced age.
Yeah. Jesus, it's not fair. You guys have knocked out 6 names already. Well done.
Yeah. All right. Now my brain's starting to fall apart.
Gets a little tougher now.
Let's see. Trying to think of some of these lineups and who was.
There are still 2 remaining that did it in 2019 season, so pretty recently.
Did Franmil Reyes do it in 2019? Was he?
He did not get there or didn't get the plate appearances necessary.
Okay.
First
Was
option
very
for
good,
Kitty. Oh yeah, he can mash.
What about old Whit Merrifield?
No, he just doesn't get the slugging, I don't think, to get to 130 or above. So Witt is your second option. Back to Kitty.
Let's see here. I'm gonna go Rosario for the Twins, 2019.
I love that guess, but he is not on this list.
Damn, I felt like he had 35 home runs that year too.
Yep. His batting
Don't get a
average is
great year.
always really low. He's always like 239 hitter with 38 homers.
Right.
We're on hint time.
We
2 strikes each.
2 each. Let's see.
Maybe what teams these guys were on, possibly narrows it down.
Yeah, we've got. Okay, so let's start with the hints from 2019. 2019, one of the players plays for a new AL Central team now. He didn't rack this up in 2019 on that team. And if you want another hint, only one of the remaining players is still playing for the team where they got this OPS plus season.
Oh, wow.
These are all 2019 players?
No, there's only 2 left that are 2019 players. There are other seasons on here of players still, but I'm trying to give you 2019 hits because I feel like that should be easier to generate in your brain. But yeah, the big one is only one of the 6 or 7 remaining still play for the team in the AL Central.
Wow.
So think of some transplants maybe.
Not Rosario, huh? Well, I already had a name down. He's not in the AL Central anymore. He's in the NL Central. But did Nick Castellanos do it?
I love that guess, but he's not on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Villapianos didn't make it. Real shame.
And I can't believe you didn't get the 2019 guy, Josh. You always have to have him on your fantasy team.
Oh, damn it. Kitty likes him too. Kitty should know exactly who that is.
Oh, no.
He's been shitty this year.
All I can think of is Giancarlo Stanton. And you say something like that.
You and I have had some bidding wars on him.
Who else did I have
in the fantasy league?
Who did I have a bidding war? What guy?
I can give you another hint too, because we've got guys left. There is one guy on here that did it for the Royals, and one guy on here that is a current Royal that didn't get it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so Carlos Santana.
Carlos Santana. Who got it for the Royals between 2015 and 2019?
That's a good question.
How about the other home run king prior to Soler?
Oh, yeah, well, Moose Tacos. Yeah, let's go with him. Yeah.
It was actually Eric Hosmer.
Hosmer did it. Wow.
And it was the 2017 season. He 133 OPS plus.
He was over 300. I can't believe Yohan didn't get it. Yohan Mercado.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yep, Yohan Mercado. I thought he was going to be the obvious one for Josh. We also had, hard to remember, but he's playing in this series against the Royals right now, Justin Upton for the Tigers in 2017.
Oh, wow.
At a 137.
I feel like he's fallen off so far.
Another big basher for the Tigers that's no longer there is JD Martinez.
Oh,
2015 at
Prince
139, 2016 at 142.
Yeah.
Said Hosmer. This was kind of wild. The last 2 guys are wild cards. It'd be hard to judge. But 2016, Brian Dozier had a 134 year.
I have Hunter Dozier on my list.
And the least expected name on this list, Avisail Garcia. 2017, he had a 138 OPS plus, and he qualified. I saw that number, and I thought,
Yeah.
well, that's got to be 200 plate appearances. Nope, he
Yeah,
played
exactly.
a full year.
That was a contract year, I
Wow.
believe.
I wanted that guy to come to the Royals so bad. I thought he was
yeah.
like a budding superstar, 5-tool player. I was like, get this guy out of Chicago and into Kansas City.
Well, I was just compared to the Miggy all the time when he was playing those first couple years in the league for him.
Every time he came in, it was like the old factoid with who's the Max Kepler for the Twins. The Royals announcers cannot wait to talk about his parents being ballerinas. With Avisail Garcia, they could not help themselves talk about how fast he is for his size.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Just couldn't help but talk about how fast he was. And he is decent. He is decently fast, but just couldn't quite have the glove that the Royals demand out of the outfield, but whatever. That was an interesting question.
That was a good one.
I thought
Frustrating.
you'd get more.
I didn't think. I don't know. The Hosmer thing was interesting.
Hosmer was surprising.
I mean, I would guess Locane 9 times out of 10 when it came to the better Royals hitting stats. Hosmer had like 1 year that was around 300, and that was that 2017.
Kane's best year OPS plus wise was 125.
Yeah,
on the 2015 team.
Yep, 15. Yep, he was very good.
I really wanted to go back later because Alex Gordon was on that list. If you went back far enough, no one wants to.
No way. No, but nobody's pulling that string.
And we couldn't have a question with 25 possibilities.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's also a good point. Yeah, that's fun. Let's move on to the waiver wire here. We got a good one for you. So I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast lately, but I am officially moving north of the wall, just to Northland, North Kansas City, from where I am currently. So that kind of motivated the category that we're drafting this week, which is the worst things that your friends ask you to do. There's a lot of things that our friends ask us to do. We're gonna make some enemies out of some friends after tonight because they're gonna know exactly who we're talking about, the situation that they did that. We're gonna hear about it later on. So we're gonna go with the draft order being Brian, then Kitty, then me, based off of that stupid DFA. But Brian, why don't you start us off with your first pick of the worst things that your friends asked you to do?
And this could be completely hypothetical, Josh. It may have
Sure.
no common,
That's true.
Nothing personal here. It could have been something we asked other people to do and felt bad about it later.
And here's the last thing that I asked Brian to do. Go.
That being said, moving was the reason for this for a reason. Moving is the number one worst thing you can ask your friends to do because moving sucks. And when you're young and poor and you don't want to pay for a moving service, you think, I just asked my buddy. It'll just take a few hours. And then like
6-pack will do it.
Like 8 hours later, you're both sweating and your back hurts. And like you said, here's a 6-pack. And they're like,
it's worth it.
You know how much.
Here's a couple slices of pizza too.
Yeah.
Have some fun. Get
some
after
Tombstone pizzas.
Oh, you're springing. I was just going to give some Tostinos.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Another PSA, lessons learned here. Do not own a truck when you are young.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're the friend with a truck, you're always going to get asked to help move because no one else has got a truck and they don't want to spend the $28 to rent a U-Haul. So you have to help all your friends move with your truck that you made a huge mistake buying.
Yeah, the U-Haul was. I was shocked when I moved how surprisingly inexpensive the U-Haul is to rent.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think it'd be more.
Yeah, especially if it's just a daily rental.
I've done I think I'm done asking friends to move, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been guilty of this. I've asked one of these co-hosts to help me move, and he graciously accepted. So that was nice of him.
That's not me. Not ever. Not ever.
Kitty's against. He's not going to ask any more friends to move because he doesn't have any more friends left because they all said.
I've already burned them with moving before, so now they're all gone.
Please.
Never again. No more friends.
Can't handle it.
Yeah,
Kitty, what's your first pick here?
At least in your 20s, you're physically fit-ish to be able to help move. It's when you get over that 30 range where it's really a struggle.
The recovery is not a whole week.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. I'm gonna go with be their alibi.
Oh, yeah, it's on my list too.
Oh, you weren't out drinking with me all day? That's what you're gonna tell your wife, and now I have to lie for you also that I did not see you Saturday. Yeah, just miss me with that shit. You either tell your wife the truth or because I'm not gonna lie. I have no ability to lie. Usually the good thing is no one asks me shit anyway. So I get out of it that way when no one's coming to me. No one's has any questions for me, so it's all good. But just in case you try, I'm not doing it. Not your alibi. If you can't tell your wife or girlfriend or whoever, or your buddy the truth about what you've been doing, that's not my fault.
I like that pick a lot.
That's really good. That's really good. I
'Cause
don't want to be guilty
they're starting
by
a war that you
association.
didn't sign up for.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're getting text messages and you don't know if they're coming from him or her.
Yep.
Oh, I got one of those. Apparently, I didn't realize at the time, but
Oh no.
asking me about how many beers a certain individual had at a football draft, and I gave the real number. Apparently, I wasn't supposed to give.
Sure, 15, 16. Remember?
I
Because
don't
you're
know.
like, hey, do you
I
want to
mean,
have a 17th? Remember that?
We're there for 3 hours. I mean, and he's gonna come up. He's gonna try to say 2. Come on, you didn't just have 2 beers at a 3-hour draft at a bar. Come on, man.
Yep.
Be reasonable. I actually thought I did lie a little bit to be reasonable, and I apparently still way overshot the number it was supposed to be.
you still hit the middle, and it was still the wrong answer.
Yeah, exactly.
My first one is get into a fight with one of your friends, but one of your buddies. I'm not a fighter. I've had plenty of back, but I am certainly way more menacing looking than I am actually utilized. So I'll have your back, but once the punches start getting thrown, you probably wanted to wish you had somebody else in your corner than me. So I think getting into a fight is one of the worst things that a friend could ask you to do.
I mean, surely at this age, you're in the clear there. Hopefully.
I would hope.
Yeah. Let's hope so. What's another one? What's another one? Yeah, after you're age 30, that should stop happening.
No more.
At this point, when Kitty flips off a bouncer, we're not trying to fight the bouncer. We're just watching Kitty get drug out of the bar and laughing.
I'm completely okay with that.
Okay, that's good. You sleep in the bed you lay in.
That's right. It's not your fight at that point. The bouncers. You don't want to get involved with the bouncers. Never win those fights.
Nope. My second one is asking for your login credentials.
Oh, I got that
things. It's not that I don't want to share with my friends. It's just $6 a month or something like that. Just pay $6 a month. It's fine. It's $6. It's $6. Just go drink Natty Light for a weekend instead of Miller Lite, and we can make up your Netflix password. So don't ask me for my login credentials. I'm not going to share them. It puts me in a weird, awkward situation. It's $6, guys. 6.
Breach. Make you feel bad for saying no, like
right.
Right, then then you get the come on, just give me the come on.
It's the same argument. It's just $6.
Yeah,
I'll give you $3 and split the monthly. No,
it's both sides of the
it's the principle of the matter, guys. It's the principle.
Although with the sharing the password, you're sticking to the man, which is always a good thing in my book.
There's your other justification.
I mean, I don't not love sticking it to the man, but at the same time, I've gone legit. I pay for my music.
There you go.
I get it through Spotify or some other means, but I pay for it one way or another. I might watch some ads on YouTube, but I pay for it. You can do the same. It's fine. It's fine. Kitty, second pick.
I'm gonna go with borrow a large sum of money.
Yep.
This goes beyond the $6. This is, I'm thinking $500+ where because then it's always there hanging over you until that money's paid back.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's paid back in a timely fashion, be it 2 months, 6 months, or whatever you guys have tried to work out, you always just have that resentment when you see that guy who borrowed money from you enjoying
Order that second beer. Order the
partying
17th beer.
partying out the bars or
Uh-huh.
doing something you're like, that's my money you're spending.
Yep.
Stop.
Don't do that.
So that one just gets resentment filled friendship. Fun for everyone involved.
Mhm.
Go to you want to
Sure
borrow
is.
money? Want to borrow money? Go to your parents.
Right.
They already resent you. Go to them.
You've already been a burden for them. Just add another $200 on top of it. It's fine.
Exactly. It's all good there.
Brian?
I'm gonna go with these annoying friends that say all the time, "Hey, listen to my podcast. We're funny. We're entertaining. We kind of bring some different angles to a subject that maybe you'll find exciting." And these assholes, like once a week, are flooding your Facebook timeline and interrupting the baby pictures that you hate looking at, and interrupting the memes that are semi-racist on there, and these guys have to interrupt all that with their pimping of a podcast that you have no interest in listening to, and they just won't go away, and I just have to hide them, and they just think they're funny and entertaining, and they're just not. So stop asking me to listen to your podcast.
The best part about that is the fact that those friends, those people that I have no affiliation with, they don't do anything else on their Facebook. They just pimp their stuff. They don't like your stuff. They don't comment on your stuff. It's purely about them. It's real selfish of them.
Mhm.
And I agree.
Oh yeah.
The worst.
They're the
Just
worst.
awful. Just brutal.
God, I'm glad I don't know any of those people. Brian,
no
what's
kidding.
your third pick?
All right, this is might shock some people because it's a low-key honor, but also a burden. When your buddy says, "Hey, I'm getting married. I want you to be there, and I want you to be my best man."
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best things they can ask you, and potentially one of the worst things they can ask you,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the burden of thinking about that speech for months and months and months. And newsflash, most of you aren't very good at giving funny speeches, but you still try to be funny. Everyone's still got a fake laugh at you. Then you got to go through the whole formality of the wedding. There's a couple hours at the church. You got formalities at the reception. And it better be a really freaking fun reception for that last hour when people get to let loose, for it to be worth it at all. But we're happy for you, friend. We're happy for you, but it's a terrible thing to ask somebody to put all that work on them. They got to find the bachelor party and work with all those assholes' schedules to figure out where you're going. And, well, dipshit can't afford $500 a night, so now we got to go to this place. And asshole number 3 can't travel for 3 weeks. And then you got idiot number 4 that just doesn't want to go there, and it's just a nightmare trying to schedule those sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's supposed to be an honor, and it is most of the time, but it's also one of the worst things you can ask your friends to do.
That is somewhat on my list. The bachelor party was on my list.
Okay.
It's tough. It is certainly tough, but like you said, absolute honor. And I am a really good best man speech giver. I am like 2 for 2 on awesome best man speeches. So get out of here with that shit.
I am a very hard 0 for 1. Man speeches. I'll say that. So yeah, that's an endorsement to not have me as your best man. If anyone's listening,
You were a
That's not
solid
married
1
yet.
for 1 on officiating, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 9 for 9 on officiating a wedding.
That's right.
Whoa, you've married a lot of people.
Let me go that route's my better route.
Wow.
The scripts provided. I'm just up there, somewhat performing, but just there for you guys, and that's a much better gig than the best man.
Kitty,
I don't-
the Nikki Lopez of wedding season. He's
Come
not
through
going to
the
wow
club
you,
for
but
it.
he's also not going to ruin it.
That's right.
That's right. There you go.
I like it. Kitty, I think we're to you, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with people that just here. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this show. Watch this show. Watch this show. Watch this show. I haven't watched it in 4 years. Probably not gonna watch it this year. So you can stop. You can stop asking me to watch the show for the last 4 years that you think I might like, because
God, that's good.
I haven't watched it yet. So I don't know. I don't distrust the person telling me to watch this, but it's over. The ship has sailed. I am not watching it.
Yeah. I've got a weird pet peeve of when they do this, but when they suggest something to you, but they started out with, you should blank. It's like, don't tell me what I should or should not do. You can say, I appreciate the suggestion. Tell me, hey, X and Y was really good. Don't tell me what I should and should not do. You don't get to do that. My wife gets to do that. You don't get to do that. My wife does. So it's a little pet peeve of mine. I'm with you on that.
I say this as someone that's been on the, hey, you should watch this side of the same argument. So
right. Yes.
I'm guilty of what I'm mad about other people doing. So this is not all outward. This is also a little bit of an inward, hey, you should stop doing this too. For myself.
If we're being completely honest here, we're all guilty of everything that we're going to say here.
Everything. For the most part, yeah.
We're friends and do the same thing that friends do. And that sometimes is the worst. So I think that goes without saying, but it's a good, yes. Yeah.
Group therapy here.
My draft board is everything that I've asked friends to do. I'm not saying any of my friends have done this. I just have been guilty about putting my friends through these. So that leads me to my last pick. Stop asking me to come on my podcast. I mean, stop asking something about coming on a podcast, because clearly if I think you're a good fit for a podcast, I'm going to ask you to come on the podcast. But again, this is stuff that I've done to other people. I've invited myself on the podcast. So I need to stop doing that. I understand that, that's not what a good friend does. So I'm going to stop doing that and hope that everybody does it to me. But my last pick is making me come up with lists that's going to alienate my friends because they're going to desert me. My friends, you two, have made me come up with things that my friends have done to me in the past. Now they're on the internet forever. And now they're going to hate me forever. So thank you. That's the worst thing that friends could do, is make me come up with reasons for my friends to alienate me.
We're growing here, Josh.
If that's the way we want to say it, that's fine. Kitty, what's your final pick?
I'm going to go with rides to and from the airport.
That's on my list.
Especially when the airport is a solid 45 minutes away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, Josh moving north of the wall, a little bit less of a burden for you if that comes to pass.
Well, I'm not coming to get you. You can come to me, and then I will shoot you over to the. That's fine.
Exactly. That way, that's a much better way to go. But yeah, 45-minute, hour and a half for me today.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in. This is awesome. I can't wait. Yep. Oh, what time your plane get in? 6 a.m. or 11 p.m. Those are the only two options it had. That was it. There was no midday flight. You guys couldn't find anywhere?
Nope.
No. Oh, 5 a.m. now. It's changed. Somehow got earlier. Awesome. I can't wait to go to the airport at 5 a.m.
Oh wait, it's been delayed.
Oh yeah. Now I'm already on the way to the airport. Oh, fantastic.
You're circling the
circle the lot for 2 hours.
Circle the lot for 2 hours.
I have to just go park in the parking spot, for 2 hours.
There you go. Spend $7 just to go go econ.
Hang out in that lot.
You could get away with that maybe 20 years ago, but especially nowadays, if a friend expects you to take them to the airport when there's Uber, Lyft, cabs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options to have people get paid to take you and do this job that you want me to do for free. Like Kitty said, at weird times of the day. So
always so late. Always seems to be so late.
That's a big time no in 2021. Do not do that to your friends.
True. Brian, bring us home.
Oh God. So many good ones still on my board here.
I'm gonna go do the most damage.
Yep. Let's do some damage. It's a horrible thing to invite your friends to your kids' birthday parties. Those should be for family only that have to go through that. AKA pretend to enjoy that afternoon when you're sitting around looking at each other and watching kids running around screaming. That should be strictly for family only, but sometimes your close friends, the kids like to play. So let me invite my buddy over, and then they go over there and they hate your guts for 3 hours. Unless you do the only practical thing, and that's have booze.
Yes.
Parents need to have booze at these things. It needs to be an option. You don't have to flaunt it. You can hide it in a solo cup or something. but give the guests a chance to enjoy themselves a little bit at their kid's birthday party, so everyone can have a good time and they're not resenting you for making you miss the Royals game that afternoon.
Yep. Or you can have a heart and do booze and the Royals game that afternoon.
Hell yes.
That's the
There's
best way.
no law against that.
Yep. Be those friends.
Mm-hmm.
Much better.
Well, if we have any friends left after this, we appreciate you and your friendship. It means a lot to us. Just stop asking us for things. It's fine. It's gonna be fun. We're still gonna be there for you in, like, I don't know, digital ways, but just stop making us do things. Clearly, that's what it's all about. But
I'll just pay.
speaking of friends, yeah. Speaking of friends, each and every one of you listening right now or watching us, whatever you're doing, we consider you friends. We really appreciate you guys supporting the Clearing Waivers podcast the way you do. It does certainly means everything to us. We absolutely appreciate you joining us every week. If you haven't, go tell your friends. It might be another way that you can piss off your currently friends is keep promoting a podcast that doesn't deserve promotion. But either way, we appreciate your attention. We'd love it if you could subscribe to us, follow us at our social medias and the YouTube channel and the podcast. Go check out the great work over at royalsreview.com. Shout out to the Heartland Pod. They're still doing their thing over there, still producing great content. So go check out the Heartland Pod and Heartland Strong. But other than that, I think that's all we've got for this week. Go Royals, go Chiefs. We've got some fun stuff kind of planned in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for some of that. We got some interviews, some old friends, some new friends coming up. So keep an eye on all that. But other than that, for Kitty and Brian and myself, we appreciate you one more time. Ta-ta for now.
Strike 3 called. It's over.